Hey, this is Fernando, and this is my first drawing on Procreate on my brand new iPad Pro. I had never used an iPad Pro before, nor Procreate, so this is my first experience with the device. I decided to create these videos because that way I can see my progress with the app and the device alongside you all. And I feel if I post videos about it, it will motivate me to get a little bit better and use it more. I'm also using the device to record this video as well as edit it using iMovie. One killer feature in Procreate is that it records all of your brushstrokes and actions. So if the app crashes or closes unexpectedly, you don't lose any of your progress. Additionally, you can export that recording into a video. This drawing took about 2.5 hours. Procreate sped that up to a minute and 45 seconds. I then used iMovie to slow it down in order to record this walkthrough. Normally I work in Photoshop using a Cintiq 22 Touch. I don't believe that the iPad Pro and Procreate are meant to replace that type of setup. However, they do make a fantastic companion for when you're on the go and you don't have your computer and your tablet with you. One thing that I like about Procreate when comparing to Photoshop is that it's a lot more minimalistic. The interface is definitely meant just for drawing. Photoshop allows you to do a million things. I mean, it's almost infinite the amount of things that you can do in it. Whereas Procreate is really just meant for drawing and painting, and it really excels at it. As you can see here, you can select any part of your painting and you can scale it, you can resize it, very similar to the way you would do it in Photoshop. I'm using the default brushes that come with the app. I didn't create any custom brushes. It does allow you to create your own custom brushes and as well as modify the default ones. I did modify a little bit the opacity and the flow and things like that. When you record your drawings, it doesn't record the interface, so you don't get to see that. One thing I will say about Procreate is that it's extremely intuitive. I only did a couple of Google searches on how to do things like merge layers and things like that. Everything else that I did in the app was extremely intuitive. I figured it out right away by just using it. Going back to the drawing itself, what I did here is that I filled up a layer underneath the drawing with a neutral gray and then I meshed them. I personally like to work first in grayscale. This allows me to concentrate on values and not focus so much on what color I'm picking and how to blend it. In my opinion, values are more important than color because they really add volume to the figure and make it look more three-dimensional. I'm doing traditional blending here. That is, I'm using the color picker to pick the in-between shade in this case, and then I use the regular paintbrush to blend the two. In Photoshop, I do have a modified smudge tool that allows me to do this much faster, but I don't think Procreate has a similar tool. While that sounds like a negative, I actually like that it's forcing me to blend traditionally rather than rely too much on automated tools and modified tools in Photoshop. The little white mark that you see on the top right of his cape is because the palm rejection failed and I ended up making a mark with my fingers. Having said that, the palm rejection on the iPad Pro and Procreate is excellent. It's actually better than it is on my Cintiq Touch on Windows 10. I often get frustrated when I'm working in Photoshop because if I do certain moves like flipping over the stylus in order to erase, for some reason Photoshop or Windows 10 registers this as gestures and it ends up closing windows and moving things around even though I didn't mean to. I didn't have that issue at all when I was working here. At most, if the palm rejection failed, it would just make a little mark on the drawing. I can easily undo that or fix it with the paintbrush. I did most of this drawing with the device on my lap. It is the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, which makes it very portable. That's exactly what I was looking for. Procreate allows you to very easily rotate your drawing without rotating the device itself. I'm actually doing that constantly. You just don't see it because it's not part of the recording. Here I'm adding color using a soft light layer. Most artists like to use a color layer or even an overlay layer to do this. I personally like soft light because it allows me to modify value while I'm adding color. So if I pick darker colors, it darkens the drawing underneath. If I pick lighter colors, it lightens the drawing underneath. So it's a good way of adding color and continue working on your values. Once I'm done blocking all the color in the soft light layer, I add another soft light layer on top of that in order to add more color and value. What I'm doing this time is, for instance, for the blue areas, I'm picking a purplish blue color for the shadows and a more greenish blue color for the highlights. Once I'm done with that step, I add one final layer on top of the entire drawing and then I fill it with a single color. In this case, it was a very saturated purple. I then start playing with the different layer modes and I lower the opacity to about 20-30%. What this last step does is by filling everything with one single color, it unifies all the colors in the drawing underneath. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe.